Aquarius.
Hey Aquarius, this is your forecast for July 2015, and we're starting off the month with a kiss from above, cosmic kiss. What is that? That is Venus and Jupiter doing the dance. They are conjunct. For you, it's really going to illuminate the whole area of your relationships here this month, especially that has to do with your significant other. If you are married, then that is it. For those of you who are single, then this could be a great time to come to meet somebody that could actually turn into your significant other. Some of you might find yourself getting married and tying the knot here this month. Others of you might be engaging in somebody else's wedding because it has that energy to it. Think about Venus as being the love and romance, and then anything Jupiter touches, it expands it and gives such an abundance and energy and focus to it. Those of you too that are single, I often get that question, what about us who are single? Always recall, you're always in a relationship. First and most focused is the relationship that you do have with yourself. It's your inner self, your higher consciousness, and so forth. So if you find yourself not relating to a specific somebody else, listen to and see how you're talking to yourself, how you're giving to yourself, how you're loving yourself at this time, and how you could be generous with yourself, because it's all working on the inside of each and every one of us, first and foremost, always, primarily, and then it becomes secondarily to the person that is in our life, okay? So then you know how that works. But it is in this area now where things are coming into balance. Now we have 3 moons here this month. The first one is a full moon here on July 1st, 9 degrees in Capricorn, which for you is going to be in that 12th house. So it's going to illuminate your subconsciousness, and it's going to be quite intense because it's going to pass over the degrees of Pluto. You've been transforming so much here, Aquarius, as far as your subconsciousness and what it is you're thinking on the other side of the veil, okay? The dream state that you have. So the full moon here is going to activate something quite intensely on this very first day of July, when Venus and Jupiter are being so delightful. So you might come to see that it's going to activate some hopes, some dreams that's kind of lingering here in the background. Also on the first, we have the Sun and Neptune, beautifully aligned. The Sun is you. It is in the 6th house for your day-to-day routine. It's also how you're feeling about yourself, your health, and so forth, your vitality. And being here, trine to Neptune, Neptune is that Piscean house. And you have that in your 2nd house for money and income. So what that means, it's you're working on the ideal level of bringing in, generating more income. So having the Sun there might be some good news about money. We just had also good news here, Venus and Jupiter. So it could be that you might receive a gift from your partner. Maybe you're gifting your partner here on this very day, or there might be some kind of agreement or a contract coming in. But somehow this is really affecting how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your partner, and your income. On the 2nd, there is some unexpected news. Mercury is always the news bringer, and it's coming from Uranus this time. Uranus is always about change, the unexpected, but as long as the aspects, the transit is good, it should be good news. Uranus currently in your 3rd house, and Mercury transiting here through your 6th. So there's something here now about either short distance travel. It could be news from one of your siblings or a neighbor, somebody close by here that might want to kick into action, maybe with an invitation coming up. On the 4th, you have Mercury again with news, now with Jupiter. On the 5th, Mercury will bring you news from Venus. So both Jupiter and Venus will also have a secondary great aspect coming in, so you can see how this month is starting off. And for you, it's about money, security, but also love. And I feel the expression of love being shared between you and your partner. If you're one of those that only think it and you don't say it, well, this is the time to say it, because your partner would love to hear those words as much as you, Aquarius, love to hear it from your partner too. So why not use this transit to be a little bit more verbal and allowing yourselves to be a little bit more vulnerable. And I know for some Aquariuses, you just want to trust that you love each other, and that's enough. Just knowing it's there, not necessarily interacting, because it kind of stirs those deeper emotions. Remember, you're in a fixed cross there, where your opposite end is Leo, and then your opponents here is Taurus and Scorpio. So it's not always easy to relate, but this is one of the times where you can relate your emotions and receive them beautifully. On the 6th, now it's about integrating all this good stuff that is taking place, and this is between the Sun, which is you, being in that 6th house, Pluto being in that 12th house. How are you going to integrate the passion, the depths of what it is you're longing for, what it is you're wanting to take out here on your day-to-day basis? This could imply some intensity. Try to think back to July 1st, when the moon was here conjuncting that Pluto. Now the Sun is opposing it, so both luminaries are going to be able to touch and activate Pluto this month. We'll have another run-in when Mars touches upon Pluto, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. But first we're going to talk about Mars on the 8th. Mars is also in your in the area of health, your day-to-day routines. Are you working out enough? Are you sitting too much? Are you stressing too much? All of these things are going to come into focus for you because you're also being illuminated not just by the Sun, but the new moon in this area, which will be on the 15th when you put down your intentions. Write that abundance check. But Mars here on the 8th is really on the go, and it's driving towards this optimum dream, which is Neptune. Neptune is your vision, and you've been holding that for a while and working towards it. Now I'm seeing that Mars is actually the key in the ignition. So this should open up some doors for you. So from the 1st to the 8th, things are beautiful. There's not a cloud in the sky. Then, here from the 10th through the 15th, you're going to have to start working a little bit more. The aspects are going to be a little bit more testy. They're not going to be impossible, but testy. It's all about integrating what has just happened here, first half of the month. Now it's back to basics. There's some decisions that are needing to be made. There's some changes that may come in, or maybe you're the one creating these changes because of all the good news that took place earlier, and now wanting to kind of bend or flex your daily routine in a different way. That's the Sun there in the 6th, Uranus there in the 3rd house. Some of you might just make a very abrupt decision to take a short trip to get away, maybe just like a day trip or maybe a weekend trip. On the 14th, Venus, which is either money or love or both, is going to be tested by Saturn. Now, Saturn for you worked in your career house. We talked about that constantly, right, for those 2.5 years. And then it moved out there in December into your 11th house. But now, retrograde, it has just re-entered your career house, wanting you to look at what do you need to wrap up? What connections did you have through your career that you could possibly benefit from now in the aftermath? Thinking that you had already passed it up and been done with it. There may be elements coming in now that can actually, for the future, behoove and benefit you. So you might feel that you're moving backwards because it is retrograde, but know that there's pots of treasure in there if you are able to spot them. So pay attention to it. Now, here on the 14th, Venus is triggering this area within your career with money matters, with looking at now what is going to be quite important to you. And I'd say there could be some maybe negotiation going on, because Venus is still here in this square, coming from a point from your 7th house. That could be partnership, or where you're working with somebody closely one-on-one. So that may come up. By the 18th, Venus is moving away out of that area into your 8th house of shared resources and also investments, maybe royalties and commissions and so forth. So right now, if you're needing to tweak anything, work any contract, this would be the time to look at it seriously, because Saturn's looking out for your higher good from the workspace, okay? So this is nice. And then talk about integration. Okay, you had the Moon and Pluto conjunct, you had the Sun and Pluto opposed earlier. Here we are, we're on the 15th. It's Mars's turn to have a run-in with Pluto. Mars being in your 6th house has to do with how you feel physically, what you're capable of moving, it can say within a 24-hour pace. It is going to be opposing this Pluto in the 12th. Maybe Pluto is saying, I really don't want to work and expend so much energy because I've been doing that for so long. So maybe Pluto's going this way, wanting to be a little bit more creative, taking a little bit more time back. And then Mars is saying, yeah, but I have to. I got to keep going, going, going. It's wanting to be responsible. Now, if this is an internal adjustment going on, you will hear these conversations taking place. Now, if it's external, then it would be somebody around you or close to you. And when we have oppositions, it could easily turn into, shall I say, a power game. If one person wants to pull in this direction and you're pulling in the other direction, recognize it doesn't have to be either or. So somebody's right or wrong. That's when we have the power game. You have nothing to prove. It's all about finding how to integrate and let it be both. Okay? Not either or, but both. Integration is really something. If you can accomplish this right now, Aquarius, trust me, this is so important, because the energy of Mars, which is going to take you for a new 2-year cycle after this, it will allow you to move through these so-called power games much easier in the next 2-year span. So this is your shot at getting it right. On the 21st, we have the Sun and Saturn. Saturn is always looking out for you, and it's up here in your 10th house of career right now. You are the Sun, and you're down here in the 6th house. So right now, I'm feeling that you're on the cusp of something new opening up as far as work. Maybe there's a new project. Maybe it's a project you heard about in the past, wasn't assigned to, that can come back around and be given to you now. Okay, for that, retrograde is good. Whatever the deal is, I'm feeling this is something that you're going to feel really not just happy about, but proud of as well. Good for you. However, though, be sure not to rush too quickly here on the 25th, because Mars is squaring off on Uranus. There might be an abrupt decision to be made, and when we act before thinking, well then, you know, sometimes it's the aftermath. We gotta do a little damage control there. So, but as long as you know about it and take a little time to kind of just reflect, it could be a very active day on the 25th. Also because Venus too is turning retrograde here on this day. Now on the 18th, it moved out of Leo, which has been so playful and joyful up to then, and moving into Virgo in your 8th house. So you're going to have a little feeling between the 18th and 25th how it is to have Venus here focusing on mutual values and how you share your resources, maybe anything with investments or mortgages coming up. And then it's going to backtrack, so it's going to slow down a little bit. Not a good time, girls, for those of you wanting any facial adjustments or fillers or getting a haircut or surgery. We don't want anything of that when Venus is retrograde, so hold back on it. And then the last thing I do want to mention is Uranus too is going to turn retrograde. That will be on the 26th. For you, it's in your 3rd house. for communication, either the written or spoken word, short distance travel, presentations and so forth. So if you feel that you've been in the lead for that these last few months, last 6 months or so, well, the pressure is going to be off for a little bit, at least the better part or 4 or 5 months. So that will give you a little breather to kind of just download. So as you can see, Aquarius, it's going to be an exciting month, especially because we got those 3 moons. Very seldom do we have 3 moons in 1 month. The first one, again, it is July 1st. It is 9 degrees there in Capricorn, which is your 12th house. The new moon is on the 15th in your 6th house. So that's when you want to write your abundance check and check out where you're at with your health, your diets and workout and so forth. And then the second full moon of the month, very last day on the 31st of July. This is in your sign here, Aquarius, 7 degrees. For those of you who have a 7 degrees sun, this is really going to be quite the thing for you. It's your first house, so you're going to feel the floodlights of this full moon really putting you on center stage for whatever reason, for whatever is around you there on July 31st. So have a good one, and I will see you next month in August. Bye now.